trauma bonds. Got close off of battle scars. Equal pain, so we think it's equal game. Same team, but it's different hearts. Same goals, but it's different shots. Thought we was winning the same. Turns out you were just running me game. Should've known, but I couldn't guess it. It's a damn shame.
And welcome back to another episode of Hoop MCs, brought to you by your host Hassan and my co-host Nassim. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? How are you this week?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. A lot of action the first week of playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just say I felt good to have you do the intro this time?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Are you're not upset, right?
No. I'm actually relieved that you did it because I did not want to do it.
Yeah, we had a couple of takes that we had to get through
last week.
Yeah. Yeah, but first week of playoffs, man. What are your thoughts on what we saw?
Don't
give me too much.
Yeah.
Just sum it up in one word.
Just to break it down, I will say that, or like as in general speaking, this is one of the more interesting first round playoff series across the board that I've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I know I was sleeping on all the matchups to begin with, but it has definitely been beyond my expectations so far, and entertainment purposes, I mean.
Yeah. Last Saturday when we recorded our episode with the playoff predictions, we had some good ones, man. Miami Milwaukee,
yeah.
Game 1. Obviously not turning out like Game 1, like how that was happening, but that was really good. Hell, even I think Washington and Philly, did they play on Saturday or Sunday? I think they played Sunday, right?
I think they played Sunday.
Yeah, there was another good game on Saturday. But
Nets versus Celtics, I think they played.
Nets Celtics played Game 1?
Yeah.
Oh, but Nets ended up kind of like taking it away towards the end.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but no, I agree.
Oh, the Clippers Mavericks, that's who it was.
Right. How did that game go again? I know obviously Dallas won, but
Luka, just took over, I think, in the fourth.
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and just kind of like review every series. We kind of wrote on the board what the series looks like now, and then based off our predictions, we had the same predictions. We mirrored off each other, except for Denver, Portland.
Yeah.
Let's start from the top. Philly Wizards. Exactly how we expected it. Yeah.
I will say the Wizards made it more close for a little bit.
Props to them.
Yeah, but I actually wouldn't be surprised if they take one of the home games now that I think about it. After
Is Russell playing today?
If he plays. I'm pretty sure he's playing. Can we also talk about the fan for a second? What the hell?
I did want to bring that up.
What was that about, man?
The popcorn?
Yeah.
Philly's trash.
Man, what a horrible thing to do. And it reminds me of when Ron Artest was about to was it Ron Artest who got saved from murder because the guy slipped? Or was that who was it that was about to rock a fan and slipped?
Yo, I think it was Jermaine O'Neal, no?
Oh, God, dude. That guy would still be in prison.
I think he did punch him, though. Didn't he?
I mean, he slipped.
Oh, he slipped, so it wasn't as hard.
Yeah.
I just remember that punch. Oh, man. My God.
If that fan was next to Westbrook when that happened, I think Westbrook is sending him to a different realm.
Man, I want to see Russell get into, like, an altercation like that.
Like an actual fight?
Go into the stands, Russ.
I feel like he would just turn into a Ninja Turtle. I'm not even going to lie. He just, not just because he looks like one, but I don't imagine him fighting like boxing or anything.
Yeah, he's kind of like a talk guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if he'll actually, not saying that he won't kick dudes' asses, because he would. But I feel like Russ probably is a lot more level-headed than what he shows on the court.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's going to just straight up punch a fan.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because
he seems hot-headed, but I don't know, man. Like, he kind of comes off of like one of those, I don't know what the fuck that was, but he comes off as one of those guys who are like, just, I don't know, he just talks the talk. He doesn't walk the walk.
Did you see the Jazz series a couple years ago when he was like, I'll F you and your wife up? Dude, I don't know. I really feel like...
That's true. I forgot. He makes remarks like that. So who knows, man?
Who knows? I don't know. I would not want to go
wild
against
card.
him.
Wild card for sure. Yeah.
Back to the actual playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised if the Wizards took one in their home court. Now that we're kind of like getting a feel for the series.
I think so. I don't think Russ is gonna end up playing this game, and if he does, he's gonna probably be limited, and it will probably hurt Washington.
Yeah.
I could see them taking Game 4, like after being down 3-0. But yeah, I mean, as far as what I had expected from a competitive standpoint, yeah, it's definitely. I mean, Philly's shown it.
Yeah. The games are closer again. I'll give it to the Wizards.
Let's go down. Brooklyn, Boston. Brooklyn up 2-1. Are you surprised, disappointed, kind of new, like it can turn out this way? Give me your thoughts.
I mean, I feel like the stars had to align for Boston to win. I mean, Kyrie had a bad game. Jason Tatum explodes for 50. So I think that's like a once in a series kind of thing for Boston. I'm sure the Nets will make easy work of the rest. But I was also disappointed to see that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because remember last week I said the Nets can really lock it in on defense in the fourth quarter, and they actually started doing that.
Yeah.
But Jason Tatum was just hitting difficult shots.
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to continue happening. So I think the Nets are fine.
Yeah, I mean, what's it called? I like how you put it in terms of the stars had to be aligned. Yeah, we're definitely not going to see that happen. I don't think, at least Tatum's going to pull that off again. Yeah. I got to say, I'm a little disappointed just because, like, with game 1, they started off slow. Obviously, they picked it up and won that game.
Yeah.
Like, you would think they would be handling Boston with a lot more ease because Brown is gone. And especially the fact that, like, obviously we're going to get to the series next, but, like, who their opponent will be in the next round, like, I don't think you can afford to do that.
Yeah, I feel like not only do they not really care about Boston, they're just already looking forward to the next series. I don't know. Because when you're watching the game, like, not to say that the Nets don't care right now, but, like, I feel like they're not playing with a passion. Like, they just know they're going to win. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, I mean, like, what's it called? They can definitely pick it up a notch. I know all three of the trio, they kind of had that in them where they just, like, elevate their game a notch when the competition rises. So, to be fair, like you said, we could see that since, you know, I had to kind of, like, reference their opponent in the next round. Let's get to that series. Yeah. This is by far the most disappointing one, Milwaukee, Miami. Not because it's 3-0, because games 2 and 3, Miami look like dog shit, man.
Yeah, especially after game 1. Like, they had a very strong performance.
Yeah.
You know, like, I feel like Giannis just got bailed out game 1. And I was like, well, it's going to be another one of those series where they lock up Giannis and he can actually kind of take this series. But then...
yeah.
I don't know what happened in games 2 and 3, but they just shit the bed. So I don't. Maybe Miami will take one for pride, but that was the worst prediction that we had.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I got to bring this guy up, Tyler Hero. What a disappointment he is or has been. Like, considering how he performed last year in the playoffs to what he's doing now, dude's not getting nearly the same PT. Yeah. Jimmy Butler's literally the only guy doing something right, or at least looks like he's doing something right. But they get blown out by, like, what, 30 at home?
Yeah.
I did not see this coming, dude.
And now you look at it, like, I've been seeing the Harden trades are coming up again, and it's like, why didn't the Heat want to trade for Harden? First off, me and you have been saying that for a while, and I'm glad that trade didn't go through. But, like, me and you had been saying, like, it doesn't matter who you're trading, you're getting Harden out of it. Like, you should be going all in. So I think that's something Miami's obviously regretting, and I think that's something Philly, which we're going to talk about later, or we already talked about them, will regret as well.
Yeah. What's it called? I think after this year, like, they could put Hero on the trading block. I can definitely see him being traded. So I have this scenario worked out in my mind, and I think I may have talked about it on the pod earlier. Did I or not?
Which scenario?
Like Kawhi's. I did.
You talked about him going to Miami or Phoenix?
Yeah, so I already have it worked out. I'm going to get to it at the very end, just like whenever we get with the rest of the series, just because I feel like it would tie everything back in.
Yeah.
Or tie everything together. But yeah, Miami. I have to say before we get off this topic, I'm also not I'm not surprised at the fact that it's shaping out to be like this because of the fact that Miami has been so like injury riddled this season. You had guys coming in and out. You never had that consistency. Butler's been in and out. Even though we talk crap about this guy, but Hero also has been in and out. Like everybody has been kind of like injured in and out of the lineup. So they never really got it going. So yeah, I was just more so surprised at the fact that it's not being competitive.
Yeah, and to reference that again, like they came out with fire in game one.
Yeah.
So everyone assumed like it was going to be a great series.
Yeah.
And then it just went to crap after that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That series is probably 4-1. Maybe.
Yeah. So next we're gonna shift gears to the West. Utah Grizzlies. Obviously, there were some elements that I wasn't aware about heading into the playoffs, like Mitchell not being there. Obviously, Memphis was able to take that.
Yeah.
And then Mitchell came back game 2. We saw a huge swing. Utah looked really good. I got to say, I think last week we said 4-1 for both of us.
Yeah.
And I also said I wasn't surprised that it would go to 4-2. Come on.
I'm sorry.
We're recording, man.
20 minutes. Where are they?
What?
My keys.
Right there.
Those are mine.
Oh, shit. Right there.
Yeah, well, you put them in here.
We'll cut this.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Yeah, I got to say, I looked at your eyes. You're like...
Oh, I was just itching.
Because you were like nervous.
Yeah,
I felt like you were nervous.
I was like, what do I do?
God damn it, man.
So
I should have locked her out. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. About Utah, Memphis. And then I said last week on the podcast that I wouldn't be surprised if it went 4-2. I still think it could go 4-2. Like Memphis can take one of these home games. And yeah, I could definitely see it paving out that way. Just because of the fact that, like, yeah, I mean, like, I still have my doubts about Utah, and you can't really, like, deny the fact that Ja Morant is a beast, so.
Yeah, and, like, I know we said game 1, like, we didn't know that Mitchell wasn't playing, which is fair. Like, I didn't know that either. But then game 2, I think Memphis still made it competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was close even despite
Yeah.
Mitchell coming back. So, this could be a better series than we thought it would be. And like you're saying, it could go 4-2 and I don't know, maybe 4-3. Ooh. No, I'm just kidding. They would have to take both at home because I don't think they're going to take one in Utah.
You don't think... Well, do you think that if they end up going 1-1 here in Memphis, do you think the Grizzlies can take it in Game 6?
No, because I think it's going to be like the underdog story where it's like, oh, it's what is it, 2-2? You never know what's going to happen. Then the number 1 seed comes out, takes their win at Game 5 at home, and then everyone's like, maybe Memphis can tie it up and take it to 7, but then they get blown out Game 6.
You think it's one of those, huh?
Yeah, because I mean, like everyone wouldn't mind seeing like an interesting Game 7 between them two,
but Memphis has a great home crowd, man. Like I feel like in the past, I remember whenever it was like OKC Memphis, like that series, like they really like fed off of the crowd's energy, man. Like I feel like they got one of the best home crowds, them and OKC. Man. I know I mentioned them, but like they definitely I disagree with you about being blown out. I could still see them lose, but I don't think Utah is like one of those teams where they're going to just come out guns blazing, just blow them out the water on the road.
I think it'll be one of those games where just all their role players, the stars align, where they're just not missing a three. Like you have Jordan Clarkson, Joe Shingles, and what the hell is his name? Bogdanovich?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if those 3 guys alone can put you up 20 if they're on a good shooting night.
That's fair. Let's go down the list. Lakers, Phoenix. By far disappointed about this one. Like the most disappointed. Mainly because Chris Paul's injury.
Yeah. Can I just get something off my chest real quick?
Yeah.
Every single time Anthony Davis touches the ball, it's a foul. Or if he's on the ground. I am getting so tired of watching that.
Did you see Paul's comments?
He's like lost 11 in a row with Scott Foster officiating.
He didn't say Scott Foster's name, but he was talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really think Scott Foster dictated that game, but
I don't either.
It's just annoying, and I feel like it's kind of hypocritical because I'm a Harden fan, but like every time the ball touches Anthony Davis' hand, he's on the floor, he's getting a foul call. And 90% of these aren't fouls. Like they're moving with him like this, like he's driving, and then they call a foul. Mm-hmm. It's like, how are you supposed to guard that?
Yeah, you can't. Anytime you bring up AD, I still want to go back to the best player.
Why?
I won't though, but I don't know. What do you think? I can definitely see LA taking this 4-1. Honestly, just because of the fact that like Chris Paul is not going to be who Chris Paul is. He's still banged up. He's like not even putting in a full like 30 minutes or 30 plus minutes, however many minutes he'd usually play. Like game 2 was amazing. First of all, game 2 was awesome to watch. They like Phoenix came back. I think they may have taken the lead, or I know they tied it. But that was just an awesome game to watch. I don't know if they'll have it in them to do that on a consistent basis if Chris Paul can't like perform. It seems like the Lakers found their rhythm like from the regular season, obviously going from like the injuries to inserting back AD and LeBron in the lineup to where they're at now. It seems like they kind of are gelling together, getting back to that early regular season form, which is bad news for the West, right? So, yeah.
We mentioned it in a different podcast, the one that we featured on, that the first 2 games for LA would be just a huge question mark. Like those first 2 games would dictate what happens in the West, and then LA hits their stride, and then I mean it's a series where LeBron's only going to get better and better because he elevates his game as each game in the series goes on. So. Like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes 4-1, but who knows how Phoenix comes back and responds in Game 4. I guess you guys will know before we release this episode.
That's true. Sunday. This today's lineup of games is kind of whack.
What is it?
Like you have Miami, Milwaukee, Washington, Philly, throwaways. Let me see what else. Atlanta played yesterday?
No, Oh yeah, they did.
They
so
did,
today
right?
Today might.
There's 4 games. Portland, Denver is probably the best one, and then Washington and Utah are playing.
Nope. You said Washington and
Utah.
Utah.
Washington and Utah. That is for sure not happening. I meant Utah and Memphis are playing, which actually can be a good game now that I think about it.
Utah and Memphis.
Yeah.
I think the Eastern Conference games are pretty bad, but the West ones today will be good. I think there's only 3 games though.
No, there's 4. I checked the lineup.
Who's playing on Game 4 today?
Miami, Milwaukee.
I'm stupid. Continue.
What was we talked about Phoenix Lakers last. So so tell me, like, what do you think is gonna be the series? Like, what is that gonna be? What's the outcome gonna be?
I think the Lakers are gonna end up taking. Which I hate going for the Lakers. Okay, it's not a LeBron thing. I'm a LeBron fan, but I hate the Lakers. I think realistically, it's Lakers in 6. Which is very unfortunate to say. Unless, again, Phoenix comes out and blows. They have to blow them out in Game 4. Like, it can't be a close game. It has to be a blowout.
It's not going to be a blowout, dude. Not in Staples.
You never know.
It's so unfortunate that they're playing from behind and they got to take one in Game 4 at the road.
I don't think Staples Center has that great of a home crowd compared to, like, other crowds.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. I'll withdraw that statement. But so you're saying that they must blow them out for the purpose of like getting that juice back or to get themselves back in the series?
Yeah, get their swag back and get the Lakers scrambling. Because if it's a close game, the Lakers are like, all right, whatever. Like we still know what we're doing. But I mean, if they just come out and get blown out of the water in their home court, I mean, not only will the Lakers scramble, the Phoenix will start feeling themselves again. And they're young guys. They need that feeling of like that swagger. Yeah. So that's something that they need, I feel like.
Yeah. Who do you think is more important to slow down, LeBron or AD? For the purpose for Phoenix success.
AD probably. Because
AD?
LeBron's going to get his regardless. Like, you're never going to stop that man. But AD, you have to keep him off the boards, and you have to keep him off the free throw line. That's what dictates the game.
That's true, because also LeBron, even if he can't get himself going offensively, he can find others, and obviously he's generating offense that way. Whereas AD, he's not really an assist guy. He's just known for scoring. Yeah. But yeah, I would agree with you. Also because of the fact that he's the best player on that team. You know, as I had said that.
We're not doing this today.
We're not. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
So next on the list, Denver, Portland.
This is the only series that we disagreed on.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn it down. Turn mine down a little. Okay. I want to say I still agree with what I said, because I had the Nuggets in 7, you had the Blazers in 7, right?
I had Portland, you had Nuggets, yeah.
Okay. This is the only series where we disagreed on. Would you still stand by your pick?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
You think Portland's gonna still take the series?
I think it's, so I'll say, like, I still think it's very possible. Like, I'm not saying that it's likely gonna happen, but it's definitely possible. And like, haven't the games have been like pretty well decided? Like on the teams that have won, I feel like they've won by a pretty decent margin.
Because like a run in the fourth, but like for the most part in the game, like it's very close.
Really?
Yesterday's game was very close up until the end. Like Portland brought it within.
In the fourth quarter, didn't Denver have a pretty good spark that had them pull away?
Yeah, at the end, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But in the mid, like I think
it's been competitive, like throughout, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so
exactly.
I mean that alone should tell you that it's probably gonna go to 7, and it can be anybody's game because anybody could get hot and just freaking take the game over.
So if they go to 7, what do you think is gonna happen?
If they go to 7, they're playing in Denver. Man, anything can happen. I can definitely see Denver choke it out. I can see, Portland getting hot, taking it. Or I can definitely see Portland going cold and losing it. And anything can happen. Anything can happen, literally.
Carmelo's been playing great.
Yeah, he has been. He's probably been like their most important bench player for Portland, obviously. Yeah. I don't know, man. We have 3 games in, and like you're saying, anything can happen. This is still overall the toughest one to predict. Did we go over Atlanta, New York? We skipped over. We glossed that. We glossed right over that, didn't we?
But we'll go back to that after we're done with the rest of the picks. But I was like, we're missing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know, because Damian Lillard, if he's not hitting it from 40, he's just gonna have an off night. We saw that last night where I think he was like 3 for 10 at one point from 3, and then he just, like, at the end he just starts shooting threes to try and will his team back.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I don't know. I still want to keep my pick as Denver in 7. I actually think maybe even in 6 if they take the next one.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, if they take the next one, you're saying Game 4 if they pull out 3-1? Well, yeah. I mean, I could definitely see that happening, but I think Portland will win today. They're playing on the road, Denver. Austin Rivers, former Houston Rocket, had himself quite a game.
What did he hit, like 4 threes in a row or something?
Something outrageous like that. Doc Rivers had commented, or not Doc Rivers, was it Doc Rivers? Yeah, Doc Rivers, right? Didn't he say something along the lines where he's like, we'll see, we saw role players have big games. Obviously, we saw one last night, or he was basically talking about his son, Austin. So I thought that was pretty funny.
I didn't actually see that.
Yeah.
Is he talking about for the Philly series that he's gonna?
Yeah, so yeah, I think he may have been commenting about either his role players himself or Seth. I don't know the context, but he essentially had made a reference to Austin Rivers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair.
Hyping up his son and shiz.
Yeah, even though he got him thrown out of a game last year. You remember when Austin Rivers gave him a 10?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Last one on the list for the West, Clippers, Dallas. It's like, okay, so this is what I said at the very end, or not the very end, but I said that we'll get to the very end because of I wanted to bring up Kawhi in the mix, but he's been having himself a great playoff series, first of all.
Very efficient.
And even Paul George, he has not played bad. Like, he's been playing good. It's just you cannot stop Luka, man.
Literally.
That guy is freaking amazing, man.
Even though they lost yesterday, this guy started off the game, what was it? Was it an 8-0 run or 11-0 run?
I think 8.
How do you start a game yourself on an 8-0 run? Like, that's just ridiculous. I know they ended up losing, but, like, that just shows that the pure dominance as he has on this series and against the Clippers, honestly.
Do you think by the end of his career, he'll be the greatest Maverick of all time? Pass up old Nowitzki?
I think it's too early to tell.
It is.
If he keeps up at this pace, yeah. And I also think he'll be known as, like, the Clipper killer. Like, the Clippers are going to hate him forever.
Hell, he's going to be known as a killer of many teams because he's going to have the Rockets number for quite a few years because of the state that we're in. But what do you think? 2-1 right now, Dallas. Obviously, the Clippers found themselves in quite a hole. They got Game 4 on the road still. It's still a must-win for the Clippers. They need to win Game 4. I don't think they're going to come back from 3-1. I think Clippers can still pull off the series, but it all rides on Game 4.
I don't want them to. I want it to be over as quickly as possible for the Clippers. Just because I don't like that team. The more I watch them, the more they aggravate me.
Why?
They just have so many people who talk on their team, but first off, they're bench riders, and second off, they're a discombobulated team. Like in Game 2, Kristaps gets crossed up, and I see Patrick Patterson, who I don't even think has touched the court in 17 years.
Patterson or Beverly?
No, there's Patterson and Beverly.
Okay.
Oh, I was about to say. Beverly, and then I can't remember the third guy. I'm pretty sure he was another bona fide scrub on the bench. They're all sitting there in Kristaps' face, pointing and laughing. First off, you're losing the game. Second off, none of you have impacted this series in any way, shape, or form, and you guys are just the most annoying people. And then Game 3 yesterday, it seems like every time the Clippers made a shot, they cared more about celebrating than they did getting back on defense to win the game. Like it feels like they're just trying to showcase how cool they are instead of like winning. There's no way this team's coming out the West. They'll be lucky to make it out of this series. I don't know. I sound like a Clipper hater, but just the group of guys on their team are very annoying.
No, I mean, so like I'm a Rockets fan, and I think I'm pretty objective when it comes to them. They give me vibes from like they give me vibes of, you know how like the Rockets were once the most hated team in the league?
Yeah.
And I think they remind me of that. Like that squad with the Rockets, I can admit myself, they were kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Truthfully. They had a couple of guys like that on the bench. Obviously, when we had Patrick Beverly, that's probably the height of us being the most annoying team in the world. But yeah, they remind me of that. A lot of cocky dudes on there, like you said. Marcus Morris being one of them. Patrick Beverly, God, I don't like that guy anymore.
No.
And hell, everybody talks crap. Even Paul George is known to talk crap. The only guy who doesn't talk crap seems to be Kawhi Leonard. Reggie Jackson seems like the guy who talks a lot too.
Yeah.
But the only reason why I still think the Clippers can pull it off is because I don't know if it's sustainable for Luka to do this and pull off the series. Obviously, like their role players played pretty well. Like they hit 23s yesterday.
The Mavs?
The Mavs. They hit 20, and I think Luka was responsible for 7 of them. So they're still playing their part. And even though they lost by 10, obviously their three-point shooting, I think, was the only thing that kept them to not be a blowout. Yeah, they went cold. But also they had a good game shooting. Hardaway is playing very well. But KP, that's kind of the guy that I wanted to go back to. He's just not playing that well. He's supposed to be their second guy. Luka obviously needs him to be effective because I think he's going to be seeing a lot more double teams. He's going to be seeing different bodies on him. So he definitely needs support from his other teammates, and I don't think he's going to get that. So I think the Clippers will pull off Game 4 and then probably even still make this 4-2.
You think they're going to get reverse swept?
I think they'll get reverse swept.
I don't think so.
You think it's going to go to 7, or do you think that Dallas is going to pull it out shorter?
I hope Dallas pulls it out shorter, but I think it'll go in 6.
6?
Yeah. And just to reference what you're saying about KP, yesterday should have been
9 points, right?
Yeah, and that should have been the game that he dominated because Serge Ibaka's out. Who was the guy who was guarding?
Zubac? Was it Zubac?
I think so. But I mean, if you're KP,
They play small too, so Batum's I think sometimes gets played as a small ball 5.
you have a 40-year-old man guarding you. Like, post him up. Do something. You're a foot taller than everybody else out there. KP's playing a little too soft for my liking.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope Dallas can pull this out because, well, I mean, actually, I don't even care if they pull it off because then the Clippers.
I would love to have them pull it off because I feel like Dallas can probably make it to the conference finals. I think they have a shot against Utah.
Yeah, that would be.
Or at least it could be a very good series.
Yeah.
At the very, very minimum, it'll be a good series.
Yeah, I think I'd rather see that. I know everyone wants to see an LA matchup. I think the Lakers would make easy work, and that would just be a more boring.
And even with an LA matchup, there's still gonna be quite a few work. Like you would need Utah to lose to the Clippers, and we're not even sure if that'll happen.
Yeah.
Truthfully,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for the Mavs. I know I sound like a huge Clipper hater, but
Yeah.
I don't. It's the same thing every year. I don't believe in them, and we can talk about your Kawhi Leonard trade because I think he should be out of there by this season.
even if they make it to the semifinals, lose to Utah, he's out, right?
Yeah, because it's like what do you have?
Yeah,
you have the Nuggets, and then you have the Jazz coming. Technically,
No, well, they're not playing the Nuggets. They're going to play Utah.
No, I mean, like coming up as in like the next couple of years, like teams that I think. Will
Oh yeah, it's just going to get more competitive for them going on. Well, here's the thing. So, I'm going to say this: there's two possible outcomes, and I've said this probably on the previous podcast. But so I think the Lakers are probably going to beat Phoenix. Chris Paul has a player option. I think he opts out of that. I don't know if he's going to stay with Phoenix, and I believe that Paul will do one of two things. He'll either go to the Clippers to play with Kawhi, or he's going to go to Miami and play for them because Miami's going to be in a pretty good spot cap-wise. So, yeah. So, I also wanted to say with Kawhi also, I think Kawhi will probably even bounce out of there and go to Miami too. So, I can see Paul and Kawhi going to Miami and forming a big four and then being that team that everybody is trying to beat. I don't know if they'll be enough to beat the Brooklyn Nets, but it's possible.
I think that would be more than enough to beat them.
Yeah.
I think the Clipper scenario is unlikely because I don't see Chris Paul going back there. I mean,
That's true.
there was more to it than just not success. Wasn't there something in the organization that he didn't like?
So I don't know. I think he had some problem with Doc Rivers. Like I believe it was because there was a trade scenario where Austin Rivers was involved or something along those lines, where Doc Rivers felt uncomfortable trading Austin Rivers, something along those lines. And so basically that upset Paul because he was like, all right, damn, like, dude, we had a chance to improve our roster and you're saying no.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. And so, since Doc Rivers is out of there, it can't be necessarily a complete scratch. Like, he could go technically to the Clippers for a 1-year deal. But also, I don't know if he wants to go to the Clippers because the Clippers have a really bad image. And I feel like Chris Paul has had a negative perception about him leading up to OKC. And I feel like he's restored his image in the NBA. He's actually quite a likable person. So I don't know if he thinks about that, but would he want to go to the Clippers?
I think him going to the Clippers is a long shot. This is a genuine question or topic that we're going to be talking about a lot is because I don't really know where Chris Paul could end up in the offseason.
Yeah, that is definitely something that we'll be talking about a lot because I think him and Kawhi will opt out of their deals for sure. Unless
the Suns, I don't know, pull off a miracle and win this championship or something.
That's not going to happen.
It's called a miracle for a reason, Hassan.
Kyle Lowry also, I don't know if you know this, but he's also a free agent.
Man, did you hear my stomach? It's growling like crazy.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not hear that.
I think the mic picked it up, but is he? I have a feeling he's going to go to the Lakers.
Lakers or Philly?
Yeah.
He's from Philly.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's from Philly.
So what's gonna happen to Ben Simmons? Is he gonna be shooting guard that can't shoot?
No, because I think Kyle Lowry can play off the ball.
Oh, that's fair.
Right?
Yeah, but you're gonna put Kyle Lowry as shooting guard?
Who's their shooting guard right now? Danny Green?
Probably, but you're gonna put Kyle Lowry as a shooting guard?
Well, I mean, it's a valid. Here's my thing. They can put Seth Curry down in the bench, bring him off as a 6-man. Danny Green can be your small forward. I mean, why not? If you have an opportunity to add Kyle Lowry, I think you do it. And they were in the play for Kyle Lowry, I believe, at the trade deadline, but it just never worked out.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's
we got to wrap it up with Miami and New York and Atlanta.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Well, first off, Knicks fans are just proving like to be annoying. But first off, I like the Knicks crowd just because it gets loud.
Yeah.
Okay, and I sound like an old head saying playoffs belong in Madison Square Garden. It does, but they're also like, you're training Trae Young for what? I think after game one.
I have an answer to that, but keep going.
So what happened for them to start chanting it in game one? Because I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
So I don't know what happened, but Trae Young isn't necessarily the most quietest person on the floor.
I know that.
So Draymond Green came out with a tweet saying, like, I'm glad the NBA world is seeing how much of a shit talker Trae Young is.
Yeah.
I think the dude just talks a lot. And Derrick Rose commented on it, but he has no problem with it. But I think the dude just talks a lot. So naturally, you're going to get a crowd riled up against you.
Hey,
So
all I'm saying is when they were chanting Trae Young and he was just looking back at them laughing,
yeah.
man, that was a great picture. Because then he ended up coming out, balling out game 3.
He's like, we'll see you in the A or something like that.
I will say, like, I know people are annoyed of him, but my respect has gone up so much.
100%. The fact that he's been able to prove that talk doesn't matter what he says on the court.
Exactly.
Guy who hasn't been proven showing up on the court was Julius Randle.
Yeah.
That guy he's definitely not the best player for that team, or at least in the playoffs. Derrick Rose definitely assumed that role. But do you expect him to pick it up?
I think it's tough. I mean, he's going against Capella, right?
I believe so.
He's matched up with Capella all night long. I mean, Capella, I know he's soft, but he's a big body down there at the end of the day.
And Capella's actually a pretty decent defender outside the perimeter.
Yeah, so I can't really necessarily fault Julius Randle because he's matched up with a bigger guy and a mobile guy. So I don't know, but he has to turn it around if they're going to do anything to compete with Atlanta.
100%. Because if New York ends up losing, I don't know if Randle's coming up on a contract deal soon or if he signed a contract recently, but even putting that aside, you had a great year. You're likely going to make an All-NBA team.
Yeah.
New York probably trusts that you're going to continue your development, continue to be on the rise, and you put the Knicks in a situation to be in the playoffs, and you go out like that. Even though Capella's a great defender, like he still needs to establish himself.
Yeah, I think that's part of his development as he continues to grow. I mean,
He's 27 too. So remember that. He's not like necessarily a young guy.
Yeah.
But I think he's been in the league for 7 years.
I don't think he's been in it. First off, this is playoff series. And I also don't think he's been consistently matched up against a bigger guy.
Yeah.
So he needs to work and figure out how to navigate that.
Yeah.
This has by far been my favorite series, honestly, just because of all the back and forth and, just watching Trae Young. It has been very fun, honestly.
Yeah.
So we didn't even make our predictions. What do you think is going to happen out of that?
I still think it has the ability to go to 7. It can go to 6, but I think it'll still be pretty competitive, even in 6.
Yeah.
This is for sure. I want to say that this is for sure my favorite series, and it'll continue to be that way. I know we talked about Denver, Portland going to 7. But I just like the elements of Atlanta and New York.
Can you imagine a Game 7 in the Garden? Man.
That's going to be wild, dude. If they did that for a Game 1 or a Game 2 victory,
Yeah, by the way, to reference what he's talking about, they were literally celebrating outside of the Garden. Like, they were blocking off streets, climbing street poles.
Which I get, like, okay, you got a playoff victory for the first time in God knows how many years.
A decade, I believe.
Was it a decade?
Yeah.
So they were in the playoffs for, like, in 2012 or 2013. They got swept, didn't they?
I believe so.
That was the year with Jeremy Lin, and they ended up getting swept or something like that.
I think 2011 was their last win, so I'm pretty sure, they got swept with Jeremy.
Yeah, so in a decade, like you said. But, man, a Game 7 victory, the Garden will be insane.
Man, even just the thought of all the stuff that's going to be happening in the game. First off, if it goes to Game 7, it has to be ESPN Mike Breen commentating.
100%. Isn't this his last year?
It is?
I thought he said something along the lines of, like, he'll be gone before a certain round, or did I just make that up?
I don't know. I didn't hear anything. But if this is his last year, I'd be very sad because he's been my favorite commentator. And Mike Tirico, not to get off topic, we'll go back. But Mike Tirico, do you remember him?
Is he with JVG and...
No, he's with a different broadcast network now, and I miss him because he was one of the second best on ESPN. He's the one.
Did he have a catchphrase?
He's the one who commented Damian Lillard's game winner against us.
That wasn't Mike Breen?
That was Mike Tirico. He's like, Lillard, he got the shot off.
Oh, yeah. Dude, That's true. Yeah.
He's easily the second best play-by-play caller.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Why do Rockets always get, like, the best commentators against us? Like, I mean, like, they're placed in a situation to comment. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know.
I have Lillard ingrained in my brain. Lillard!
He got the shot. Man, that's one of the best play calls, even though that was I remember I was at your house when that happened.
Yeah. Do you remember I punched my door?
Yeah.
I'm surprised. It's kind of like disappointing that I didn't put a hole in my door.
Honestly, I was waiting for it.
Yeah, I think I may have even punched it a second time because I wanted to prove my point that I was mad, but I just couldn't put a hole in my door.
Yeah, dude, I think that just made your case worse.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we got completely off topic of the Hawks.
Yeah.
I would love to see it in 7, just for the pure, because of the energy that's going to be coming out of the Garden. But I don't know, man. Atlanta just has to get one more at home, and then the series is there. So it's very possible too.
Yeah, must win. I would say it's a must win for New York for sure in Game 4. Like I said, even if it goes to 6 and Atlanta takes it, I still think we're going to see competitive playoff basketball throughout that whole series.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah. That is definitely my favorite series just because of everything.
We'll have to do for sure a semifinals prediction. Continue this throughout the playoffs.
Yeah.
With that being said, I think that's a pretty good stopping point. We're going to see 4 games today, 4 games tomorrow. Hell, we could see a team advancing to the semifinals here at the end of today in a couple of hours.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, I do want to ask: do you have any change in your finals picks at all? Who did you have?
Are you talking about like way early in the pod, or when did we do a finals picks?
Did we do one last? Oh, we didn't do one last week. We did it on a different podcast.
Oh, we did, right?
Yeah, you picked Clippers and Nets. I picked Nets and Lakers.
Last week?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
So to reference, we were on a different podcast and we gave our finals picks. I said Nets, Lakers. He said Clippers, Nets, with Nets. Both of us having Nets winning. What do you?
I definitely regret it.
Yeah.
100%. I think it'll go back to Lakers Nets.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Is it? I don't know if you'll be disappointed in me, but I'm starting to doubt the Nets a little bit.
Okay, let's not overreact a little. We just said that the Stars had to align for Boston to take a game.
Well, I know, I get that, but like, man, to go from Boston to, obviously this is the case anyways for any team, but like Milwaukee has looked really good, so I'm not sure. It's not that I'm saying like Milwaukee could pull it off, but I feel like the Nets are gonna have their hands full with Milwaukee.
I think this is that series is when all 3 Stars will lock it in,
and
that's when you'll see like what they're really about. Because we haven't seen all 3 of them lock it in. We both know that.
Yeah, that's true.
And then if Milwaukee just ends up pulling it out, then I'll never watch the NBA again. Because then I have to live with Giannis.
Yeah. Before we wrap it up, is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Nah, man, I'm really looking forward to a lot of these games. I keep saying Atlanta, New York.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm most excited about, and the Clippers one. But I don't know, man. It's going to be another interesting week. It's been a lot of fun watching the games.
Next time when we record, we should... I'm not saying, like, we'll have most of the semifinals picked out or most of the semifinals teams locked in.
Yeah.
But I do expect at least, let's see, hell, I could see, like, half of these games being done, more than half of these games being done.
Yeah. I think for sure 3 of the Eastern Conferences will be done.
Yeah. That was pretty easy to see. Like Philly, Wizards, Brooklyn, Boston, Milwaukee, Miami. By next Saturday, they'll be all done. Maybe Utah Grizzlies. I don't know what the schedule looks like, but
actually, now that I'm looking at it, I don't think the West will be done at all. I don't think there will be.
I could see Phoenix Lakers being done. Utah Grizzlies possibly not, but possibly so. And I have a little bit of faith in Clippers Dallas, so I think they can still pull it. I think they can extend the series.
Yeah, we'll see, man. It's gonna be even more fun this week. I'm excited.
I mean, obviously, most of these games are going to Game 4 right now, so you'll figure like which ones are gonna be at Game 7. That's really what the question is, and and we said that 2 of them probably will go to 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bearing anything crazy happening.
Yeah. Obviously, Dallas Clippers could be one of those as well, but we'll see.
That's all.
That's a pretty good stopping point, ladies and gentlemen. So we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Do you want to go ahead and make sure you let them know?
Hey.
It's not going to be on the wall, ladies and gentlemen.
It's going to be somewhere around me. I don't know. Just make sure to check us out on Instagram and Twitter. We post snippets on there. And we are pretty active on there. We respond to people. We also record on YouTube. If you're not watching us on there, you can check us out on there. If you are watching us on YouTube and you prefer to be an audio listener, you can check us out on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Yeah.
We have options for you all. So
appreciate
you guys watching as always, and we appreciate the support.
I might keep my wife coming in.
Why?
I feel like I genuinely got upset. I just think that...
Are you keeping that in the episode?
I think so. You're just gonna hear like a little creak in the door open. I'm like, why?
Yeah. The audio listeners are gonna be so confused.
Yeah, they will be. But hey, you never know what you're gonna get with us. Am I right?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. You will know what you're gonna get with us. We appreciate y'all for tuning in, and until next Saturday, where you will get or not next Saturday. This video will be coming out Monday. The audio will come out Monday. But anyways, y'all know the deal. Subscribe, like, comment, share. We appreciate y'all, and we will see y'all next week. Peace.
Later.
Trauma bonds, got close off of battle scars. Equal pain, so we think it's equal game. Same team, but it's different hearts. Same goals, but it's different shots. Thought we was winning the same. Turns out you were just running me game. Should've known, but I couldn't guess it. It's a damn shame.